Thanks for tuning in to PSC Sports Talk. This is Max the Man. Tonight we're going to start a two-part series on Pete Carroll's coaching career. The first one is going to be his pre-USC days and then his time at USC. And then the part two is going to be about his time with Seattle. So we're going to go ahead and get started right here after the intro.
It's PSC Sports Talk, without a doubt.
It's Max the Man, reppin' PSC Sports Talk. Back in school, I was a super jock. Now I get my sports news from Pat McAfee and AJ Hawk. The best rapper all time is Tupac. Just a middle-aged dude consumed with sports. As a dirty fucking smoker, I smoke Newports. When it's hot outside, I'm rocking Jorts. At the beach last week, I built a fort. Covering the NFL and the MLB. Hall of Famer, PB, the CFB. Went back to school to earn more pay. I'm tired of the struggle day to day. Now lighten up like Tommy John, BFA. A joint, a pipe or a bomb. Cause this train is about to get rolling. Blows my mind, KD be trolling.
Carroll began his coaching career in 1973 as a graduate assistant at the University of Pacific. After gaining experience at various colleges and universities, he made his way to the NFL, where he served as defensive backs coach for the Bills and as defensive coordinator for the Vikings and New York Jets. During this time in the NFL, Carroll's experience in defense stood out, and he was known for his innovative strategies and ability to get the best out of his players. In 1994, Carroll got his first head coaching opportunity in the NFL with the New York Jets. Though his tenure was short-lived, with only one season of 6-10 football for the Jets, but Carroll's time there allowed him to gain valuable experience as a head coach and further develop his coaching style. In 1995-96, he served as the defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers. In 1995, San Francisco was 11-5 and had the number one defense in yards per game and the number two scoring defense. In 1996, they were 12-4, with the defense ranking 7th in yards per game and 5th in scoring. He then moved on to become the head coach of the New England Patriots from 1997 through 1999. While his time with the Patriots was challenging, Carroll's leadership abilities laid the foundation for his future success. In 1997, the Patriots were 10-6 and won the NFC East. They beat the Dolphins 17-3 in the wild card round of the playoffs, but fell to the Steelers 7-6 in the divisional round. In 1998, they finished 9-7. They did make the playoffs, where they lost in the wild card round to Jacksonville 25-7. In 1999, New England fell to 8-8 and did not make the playoffs. After the season, New England decided to part ways with Carroll after a record of 27-21 in 3 seasons. Patriots owner Robert Kraft said firing Carroll was one of the toughest decisions he had to make since buying the team, stating, "A lot of things were going on that made it difficult for him to stay, some of which were out of his control." For New England, this was the beginning of the Belichick era. So, in the end, I guess it worked out for both parties after all. Carroll's coaching career to this point was marked by his ability to build strong relationships with his players, his dedication to excellence, and his innovative coaching strategies. Pete had juice, the most upbeat and positive coach in the league. His coach speak word was compete. Everything we do, we compete. The players bought in. Compete was the word around the franchise. But no matter if we lose or win, it's always a positive vibe, almost surfer-like. I think Pete enjoys a toke here and there. These qualities, along with his relentless work ethic and passion for the game, were evident early on in his coaching career and continued to shape his success. After coaching in the NFL for several years, it was time for a change. On December 15, 2000, Carroll was hired as the head coach of the USC Trojans. The USC program is not where they wanted to be after finishing 6-6 and 5-7 in 1999 and 2000. So, Coach Paul Hackett, father of New York Jets offensive coordinator Nathaniel Hackett, he was fired. Pete's coaching style was molded and refined while at USC. In 2000, the Trojans finished with a record of 6-6, but they were 5-3 in the Pac-10. They lost non-conference games to Kansas State and Notre Dame, and they also fell in the Alamo Bowl to Utah 10-7. After a tough 2001 season, USC bounced back with a record of 11-2 in 2002. winning the Pac-10 and finishing the number 4 team in the nation. USC lost to Kansas State again, 27-20. In this game, Kansas State turned the ball over 5 times and still ended up winning. The second loss was to Washington State, 30-27. In the Orange Bowl, they beat the number 3 Iowa Hawkeyes, 38-17. The captains of the team were Troy Polamalu and Carson Palmer. Carson Palmer was also named the Heisman Trophy winner. After an excellent 2002 season, the Trojans were on a roll. They finished the 2003 season 12-1, number 1 in the AP poll and number 2 in the coaches poll, along with another Pac-10 title. Their lone loss was to Cal in triple overtime. At the end of the season, there were 3 teams that were tied with an 11-1 record, but unfortunately, USC and Pete Carroll were left out of the BCS National Championship game. They did, however, beat the number 4 Michigan Wolverines in the Rose Bowl 28-14. This year's recruiting class was one of the best ever by any school. 12 players were drafted out of this class with 4 first-round selections. Notable names from the class: Reggie Bush, Lindell White, and Ryan Khalil. Coming into the 2004 season, the Trojans were ranked number 1. They finished 13-0, winning a 3rd straight Pac-10 title. They ended up vacating these titles due to bullshit NCAA allegations due to Reggie Bush receiving inappropriate benefits, having his future Heisman Trophy confiscated as well due to these allegations. In 2024, Reggie Bush was given his trophy back. Reggie Bush still denies any wrongdoing in the case. The Trojans kicked the shit out of Oklahoma 55-19 in the Orange Bowl. Matt Leinart won the Heisman Trophy this year, making it 2 out of the 3 years that the Heisman Trophy was given to a SC player. This team was only the 2nd team all-time to be ranked number 1 wire-to-wire and the first unanimous national champion since 1972. Matt Leinart came back for another season with the Trojans, attempting to win another Heisman Trophy and national championship. This year marked the first year for Pete without guru offensive coordinator Norm Chow, who took the offensive coordinator job for the Tennessee Titans. The new offensive coordinator and recruiting coordinator is the current Ole Miss head coach, Lane Kiffin, son of defensive guru Monty Kiffin. Lane was promoted from the wide receivers coach. They also lost defensive line coach Ed Orgeron to Ole Miss to be their head coach. Pete hired Steve Sarkisian, the current Texas head coach, as his quarterback coach and assistant head coach. USC finished number 2 in the AP poll and coaches poll with an impressive 12-1 record. 9 out of 12 of their games were won by 17-plus points. Coming into the season, they had 14 starters returning and were on a 22-game winning streak. In December, ESPN analyst Kirk Herbstreit and Mark May stated USC was the best team in the last 50 years, behind the 1995 Nebraska Cornhuskers and the 2001 Miami Hurricanes. Their only loss was to Vince Young in Texas in the Rose Bowl, 41-38. This game has been said to be one of the greatest games in college football history. Reggie Bush won the Heisman Trophy this year, but was stripped later due to those NCAA violations. Also, due to the violations, Bush was permanently disassociated with the program. These sanctions have been criticized by some NCAA football writers, including ESPN's Ted Miller. Quote, "It's becoming an accepted fact among informed college football observers that the NCAA sanctions against USC were a travesty of justice, and the NCAA refusal to revisit that travesty are a massive act of cowardice on the part of the organization. That's the take of all clear-thinking people." Quote. Bush would eventually manage to get his USC career stats reinstated. On April 24, 2024, it was announced that Bush would have his Heisman Trophy reinstated because of what the Heisman Trust calls enormous changes in the college football landscape. Reggie Bush won Pac-10 Offensive Player of the Year, and Pete Carroll won Pac-10 Coach of the Year. 12 players were named to the All-Conference team, along with 9 honorable mentions. They also had 10 All-Americans. Reggie Bush won the Doak Walker Award as well, and Matt Leinart won the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award. For the 2006 season, Lane Kiffin would return as the offensive coordinator. This year, Coach Carroll hired, in my opinion, the biggest piece of shit idiot to coach his defense in Nick Holt. They were preseason number 6 and predicted to win the Pac-10 with 11 returning starters. The Trojans would finish 11-2, Pac-10 champs for a 5th straight year, and 4th in the AP and coaches poll. The loss to UCLA, 13-9, marked the first time in 63 games USC did not reach 20 points. They also fell to Oregon State, 33-31. They beat previous number 3 Michigan in the Rose Bowl 32-18. 2007, the Trojans came in ranked preseason number 1 again. They're the first Pac-10 team to win 6 straight titles, as well as they're the only team to have 11-plus wins in 6 consecutive seasons. Carroll was quoted, "This may be the most talented team we've ever had." Sark was moved to the offensive coordinator position, and somehow shithead Nick Holt kept his job as defensive coordinator. Quarterback and team captain John David Booty was the signal caller for the offense, and the defense was led by Captain Lawrence Jackson. The Trojans finished the season 11-2. Their first loss was to 41-point underdog Stanford in one of the biggest upsets in history. Carroll's team had won a then-record 34 straight games from 2003 to 2005, a streak that started after a loss to Cal in triple overtime. During his tenure, USC broke its average home attendance record 4 times in a row. The USC home attendance average in 2001, his first season, was 57,744. By 2006, it was over 91,000. During this period, USC had a 35-game winning streak at the Coliseum, spanning over 6 years, from 2001 to 2007. Success of USC football under Carroll led to a sharp rise in overall athletic department revenue, growing from $38.6 million in Carroll's first season at SC to more than $76 million in 2007-2008. The second loss came to Oregon, 24-17. They went back to the Rose Bowl and kicked the shit out of Illinois, 49-17. 2008, they were ranked as preseason number 2, and they were favored to win the Pac-10 again. Douchebag Nick Holt and Sark were back as coordinators. The defense was led by an outstanding linebacking core of Clay Matthews III and his sweet hair, Psycho Brian Cushings, and Ray Malaagu. First-year starter and signal caller Mark Dirty Sanchez, who was a major part of the butt fumble play in the NFL. USC finished the season 12-1, with the only loss being to Oregon State, 27-21. No surprise to anyone at this point. They won their 7th straight Pac-10 title. They finished the season number 2 in the Coaches Poll and number 3 in the AP Poll after winning another Rose Bowl, 38-28 over Penn State. Awards this year, Ray Malaagu won the Bednark Award, as well as the CBS Sportsline.com Defensive Player of the Year and the Pac-10 Defensive Player of the Year. Ray Malaagu, Taylor Mays, and Brian Cushings were first-team All-Americans. 2009 was not a good season for Pete and USC. Dirty Sanchez bolted for the NFL, so Pete ended up having to start freshman quarterback Matt Barkley. On defense, they had Super Bowl MVP with Seattle, team captain Malcolm Smith Jr. In the secondary, they had Taylor Mays, who sucked as a pro, but in college, that dude was a problem. Preseason number 4 this year, this team was able to go to Ohio State in week 2 and beat the Buckeyes 18-15. Then, in week 3 at Washington, Pete and the boys lost to the Purple and Gold. Captain Husky, I'm sure, was proud. They also lost at Oregon 47-20, and they lost again to Stanford at home 55-21. They finished year 9-4, 5-4 in the Pac-10 for a 5th place finish. Oregon State finished ahead of them. So, yes, they got licked by the Beavers. They did pick up a win in the Emerald City Bowl, 24-13 over Boston College. Years later, which was 2008, he was asked if winning the Rose Bowl was ever not enough. He would say, quote, "No. You got to understand that our mindset is to focus only on what we can control. We can only control getting to the Rose Bowl. Winning our conference and going to the Rose Bowl is what our goal is every year. Our goal isn't about national championships because we don't have control over that. That's in somebody else's hands. We found that out years ago when we were number 1, but then we were number 3. We already knew that, but if we win our games and we're out there and they want us to go somewhere else, then we'll go. We love the Rose Bowl." He insisted over the years that he was happy at USC and that money was not an issue. He also was said to enjoy the Southern California lifestyle. When asked if he would retire at SC, Carroll responded, "I'm prepared to do that. That's the way I look at it. Like this is the last job I'm ever going to have. I approach it that way. Now, whether it is or not, I don't know." Someone asked me the other day, "Does that mean you're never going to leave?" Why do people want to make you say that? I have no idea, but I can't imagine doing anything else. It's a great place to be. I've been so lucky and fortunate. I owe so much to the school and the people who follow it, and the guys who played for us. I love being here. His total compensation, including pay and benefits in 2007, was just shy of $4.5 million. On January 10th, 2010, Carroll resigned as head coach of the Trojans to take the head coaching position with the Seahawks. According to the LA Times, Carroll came to an agreement with the Seahawks on a 5-year, $33 million contract to become head coach. In case you were wondering, Lane Kiffin, current Ole Miss coach, was given the USC job. So program highlights under Pete Carroll: 2 BCS championship appearances in 2005 with a win over Oklahoma, and a 2006 loss to Texas. There were the Associated Press 2003 and 2004 national championships. They had 7 consecutive Associated Press top 4 finishes, 6 BCS Bowl victories, 7 consecutive BCS Bowl appearances, a national record 33 consecutive weeks as the Associated Press number 1 ranked team, a winning record of 97-19 for a winning percentage of 83.6%, a winning record of 14-2 against traditional rivals Notre Dame and UCLA, an NCAA record of 63 straight 20-point games, 25 first-team All-Americans, 53 players selected in the NFL draft, including 14 in the first round, 3 Heisman Trophy winners, Carson Palmer in 2002, Matt Leinart in 2004, and Reggie Bush in 2005. 4 top 5 recruiting classes, 34-game winning streak from 2003 to 2004, winning streak of 21 home games, and Pac-10 home games of 17, a 25-1 record in the month of November. In July 2007, ESPN.com named USC its number 1 team of the decade for the periods between 1996 and 2006, primarily citing the Trojans' renaissance and dominance under Carroll. In 2007, his effect on the college football landscape was named one of the biggest developments over the past decade in the ESPN the magazine. In May 2008, Carroll was named the coach who did the most to define the first 10 years of the BCS era. In July 2014, Carroll was announced as a member of the 2015 USC Athletic Hall of Fame class. He was the American Football Coaches Association Division 1A Coach of the Year, the Home Depot National Coach of the Year, Maxwell Club College Coach of the Year, ESPN.com National Coach of the Year, Pigskin Club of Washington, D.C. Coach of the Year, All-American Football Foundation Frank Leahy Co-Coach of the Year, Pac-10 Co-Coach of the Year. 2004, he was the National Quarterback Club Coach of the Year, also the ESPN.com Coach of the Year. 2005, Pac-10 Co-Coach of the Year, United States Sports Academy Amos Alonzo Stagg Coaching Award. 2006, Pac-10 Coach of the Year. After Carroll announced he was leaving for the Seahawks, he denied the possibility that the NCAA sanctions were a factor in his leaving USC to return to pro football in Seattle. Not in any way, Carroll stated, because I know where we stand. It's just a process we have to go through. We know we fought hard to do right. Carroll was hired before the sanctions were announced. On offense, Carroll is known for his aggressive play calling that is open to trick plays as well as going for it on 4th down instead of punting the ball away. Because of his aggressive style, the USC band gave him the nickname Big Balls Pete. At USC home games, when Carroll decided to go for it on 4th down, the USC band would start a chant of Big Balls Pete that carried on to the student section as well as the alumni. On defense, Carroll favors a bend but don't break scheme of preventing the big plays, allowing opposing team to get small chunks of yardage but try to keep plays in front of his defenders. Carroll draws coaching inspiration from the 1974 book, The Inner Game of Tennis, by tennis coach W. Timothy Galloway, which he picked up as a graduate student at the University of Pacific. He summarizes the philosophy he took from the book as all about clearing the clutter in the interactions between your conscious and subconscious mind, enabling the superior practice and a clear approach. Focus, clarity, and belief in yourself are what allows you to express your ability without thought and concerns. He wrote a foreword later for an edition, noting that athletes must clear their minds of all confusion and earn the ability to let themselves play freely. After he was fired by the Patriots, Carroll read a book by former UCLA basketball coach John Wooden, which heavily influenced how he would run his future program at SC. Emulating Wooden, Carroll decided to engineer his program in the way that best exemplified his personal philosophy. He decided his philosophy was best summarized as, "I'm a competitor." As a fan of the Grateful Dead, Carroll then tied Wooden's thoughts into those by Jerry Garcia and decided that he wanted his football program to not be the best, but the only program following his competitive philosophy. Quote, "Reading Wooden, I realized if I'm going to be a competitor, if I'm ever going to do great things, I'm going to have to carry a message that's strong and clear, and nobody's going to miss the point ever about what I'm about." Jerry Garcia said that he didn't want his band to be the best ones doing something. He wanted them to be the only ones doing it. To be all by yourself out there doing something that nobody else can touch. That's the thought that guides me, that guides this program. We're going to do things better than it's ever been done before in everything that we do, and we're going to compete our asses off. And we're going to see how far that takes us. Carroll is known for his high energy and often pleasant demeanor when coaching. In explaining his enthusiasm, Carroll stated, "I always think something good's just about to happen." Reacting to the USC sanctions in a video, Carroll said on June 10th, 2010, "I'm absolutely shocked and disappointed in the findings of the NCAA." He said in a 2014 visit to USC, "I thought the NCAA investigation into USC was dealt with poorly and very irrationally, and done with way too much emotion instead of facts. I sat in those meetings. I listened to the people talk. I listened to the venom that they had for our program. They tried to make it out like it was something else. They made a terrible error." In 2015, he said, "We had so much success, and we had so much fun doing it. It was uncommon for people to understand. I think it rubbed people the wrong way. There was such bitterness." Don't forget to like and subscribe, and be a friend, tell a friend. Peace out, players. Don't forget to tune in to part 2, where we're going to go over Pete's time with the Seattle Seahawks.
It's Max the man, repping PSC Sports Talk.